Hi, welcome to ShowMeTheCurry.com. I'm Anuja.
And I'm Hital, and today we're going to be making a kale subzi. Now, kale is really healthy and it's really popular right now, and why not? Because look at it, it's beautiful. It's a green leafy vegetable with lots of nutrients, lots of vitamins.
And honestly, it's not really used a whole lot in Indian cooking. So, we always again look at it, we pass by, we're like trying to figure out what to do with it. So here's a really good fun way of putting it in your Indian cooking and in your Indian menu. So very simple recipe. So let's get started.
Right. So we have one bunch of kale. It's about 1 pound, and it's usually packaged like this where it comes in a bunch. So we've washed it really well. And the thing about kale, and most recipes you find with kale, is nobody ever uses the stems because they're really fibrous and a little hard to work with. But we're going to use the whole thing because that also has nutrients and it's a lot of fiber, and we know fiber is good for us. So what we're going to do is just going to trim off the very edge here. And it's like a real thick stalk like this, so we can get rid of that. And everything inside is pretty much usable. It's all really thin stalks. And then what we're going to do is take just the stem portion of it, and we're going to keep this separate. We're going to keep the leaves separate, and we're going to keep the stem separate, and we'll show you in a minute why. But this portion, just chop it down relatively fine, because again, it is very fibrous and you want it to cook a little faster.
And the other thing it does is that I think the stalks provide a great crunch to the otherwise just a green leafy vegetable.
Exactly.
So it's going to have great textures.
And you can keep chopping all the way till you get to the leafy portion. And once all the thick stalks are chopped up, we can also go ahead and chop the rest remaining of the leaves. And you really just want to, you can choose to keep it big leafy vegetables depending on the texture you like, or you can just completely julienne it almost.
Right.
And get small
it actually
portions.
wilts a lot, so it'll reduce in the size and in quantity. So in a bowl over here, I'm going to put half a cup of besan or chickpea flour. And to that, I'm going to add a few spices. This is a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi, 1/4 teaspoon of cumin powder or jeera, 1/2 teaspoon of amchur or dry mango powder, 1/2 teaspoon of coriander powder or dhania. And I'm going to put some red chili powder to taste, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to mix this. You want to make sure there's no lumps in there, so just kind of use your hands, because the amchur tends to lump up and break it down. And then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of oil and mix it in.
So we have a skillet here with 1 tablespoon of oil heating up. And once the oil is hot, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of cumin seeds and let them sizzle. Have 1/8 teaspoon of asafoetida, hing, and chopped green chilies to taste. We have about 4 or 5 roughly crushed garlic cloves. Give that a mix. And let that cook for about 30 seconds before we add the stalks from the kale. We're also going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, or to taste. And once it's mixed well and all the oil is coating all the stock, we're going to cover it and let it cook until the stalks get a little bit tender.
And every once in a while, just keep an eye on it and keep stirring it. And all the water that accumulates on the lid, you can pour it back in.
Right, our kale stems have been cooking for about 10 minutes. And though they're not cooked all the way through, they still have a little crunch to them. And that's exactly where we want it. We're going to go ahead and add in the leaves now.
Like I'd mentioned earlier, it looks like a whole lot, but it's going to wilt a lot.
And again, about another 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we're going to mix this in.
So keep mixing and stirring so that the leaves sweat and wilt. So once it's wilted, we're going to cover it again and just let it sweat a little bit more for about 3-4 minutes.
So it's been about 3 minutes, and you can see that all the water has collected on top of the lid. Just pour that back in. And give it one more stir. And just flatten it out across the whole bottom of the pan. We're also going to reduce the temperature just a little bit and pour our besan mixture over the top evenly. And without stirring, we're going to put the lid back on and let it sit there until all the water collects back on top of the lid.
So it's been about 3-4 minutes, and you can see the steam has formed on the lid. So you're going to pick it up and pour the liquid back into the pan.
And mix that basin in. Now basin tends to clump, that's why we kind of pour it on top and we don't touch it until it has time to sit covered and cook. So if we mix it in too fast, it'll be very slimy. And now it's going to form nice little crumbles like this, and it's going to add to the texture of the dish. And we're going to let it cook maybe about a minute or two, just uncovered.
So our kale sabzi is done. Look at it, it looks beautiful. I love the fact that it's not just one shade of green. It's got the stalks, which are a totally different shade. Not only do they provide a different color, they also provide a different texture. And we have not tossed them, which most of the recipes ask for you to toss the stalks.
Yeah.
So this is great.
You save money. I mean,
yep,
health benefits and save money. Perfect.
Right. And the little specks of basin and the chickpea flour are just excellent.
Try this?
Yes, you gotta try it.
It's delicious. Kale has just the right amount of bitterness to complement that basin. It's fabulous. And the crunch of the stems, they're cooked, but they're still crunchy. I love that.
So if you like this video and you'd like to see more from us, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because you'll be the first one to know anytime we release a video, and they're absolutely free.
Absolutely. So enjoy your kale sabzi and join us again on another episode of ShowMeTheCurry.com.
Adding a pinch of spice to your life.